Yolan Trun, welcome to another exciting day in our galaxy. Today is my STFC filming day again, and we start that with the Trill Emblem Event. There's so much new stuff coming in, and this noon I will try to make a video on the arena combat, but not knowing how this is gonna work today, I am quite curious if I can manage to make a video this week on the arena combat. But let's start with the Trill Emblem Event. That's another special event running at the moment. You can see it here already with the unstable discoveries and the sign for it. There are certain events where you can earn those Trill Emblems. That's the yellow stuff you see on the screen. That's a Trill Emblem. And that you can use to purchase stuff in the event store. First of all, we have the unstable discoveries as an event where you get a daily event that you have to complete to fill the SMS overtime, where you need 20 events to complete this. So you have to do 20 of those daily events to complete the whole SMS. You see it's another 14 days from now when I'm filming. And the interesting part is the 10 Birche Kelra officer shards in there. But with every event you get some of those Trill Emblems. And it's not only the special event with the unstable discoveries, the other events where you usually would earn materials, which I would need much more at the moment than Trill Emblems, but still you can earn that on other events as well. You see here in the Symbiosis Part 2, there's the Mission Key Hunter event, and don't forget to get your free daily mission key every day. Whenever mission keys are involved in the game, you know that I will definitely say that on the web shop via the browser. Every day Scopely gives you a free mission key, and if they give you something for free, you really should get this, because you see there's an SMS for you, but there's also an AMS for the whole alliance where you get rewards as well. In this case you don't get materials, you get Trill Emblems as well. The important part we need to talk about is the event store. For lower level players, mainly, they will not be as desperate as me for materials at the moment, because I'm on the way from 59 to 60. A lot of people will really love that Trill Emblem event at the moment, because you can get ship blueprints, officers, fleet commanders, ship parts, ship refits, throwback cosmetics, cloaking, special currencies, and resources and materials, depending on your ops level. I have a very good way of looking at it from different perspectives, because I have a small account on Ops 12 as well, and there I can only get, in the end, officers that make sense. And in this case, I wanna talk about a few of those. On my level, it's a bit more what you can see here. But the officers are the really interesting part. There were some, it's all those, all of them are kind of Galaxy Quest officers. I count Dayash, Tolra and Toli in there as well. But you really have the chance to complete officers you don't have that. Especially with rare officers, it's always quite hard to get them. And I used this event to complete Toli and to complete Alexander Dane, or someone from my alliance always says Hans Gruber, because I still have managed to get them via the events in-game, and so I have the chance to complete them, which means that I've got all of these officers now, and if you're missing any of these officers, this is a good source to complete them. The other thing is that there are ship blueprints in here. And that's another of those bugs at the moment. When you click into one thing in the event store, I often have this, that I have to completely leave the events to get in there again. Depending on your ops level, I have to say that again, you find a number of interesting ships in here. And in this case, I really don't mean the Gorn Eviscerator, because you can get this in-game. But there are ships that are much harder to get, where you need longer to get them. So usually I would say ignore all the faction ships I'm scrolling away now, because there are Titan blueprints in here. There's Cerritos blueprint. Cerritos is another one, not so important, but there's Defiant blueprints, which take you longer during the game. The Mantis is in here, and the Meridian should be somewhere as well. Another chance for a second Stellar. Whenever we have those events, I tell you, this is the way to get your second Stellar. But there's one important point I always say. You have to have your Stellar via the faction shop already before you get blueprints in a special event. Because if you get blueprints via the special events, they will at some point disappear in the faction store. So be sure that you get your first Stellar via the faction store, the Rogue faction store, and after that, when they have disappeared in the faction store because you've got your first Stellar, then get Stellar blueprints via those special events. But it's really important to have a second Stellar, because you can build one up endlessly, well, not endlessly, but until it's maxed, and you have a second Stellar that you can use for scrapping. So having two Stellars is really an important point. And there's also the Meridian in here. For a long time you will need the Meridian for isogen mining, and that's why I suggest, if you don't have a Meridian, see to it that you get blueprints for the Meridian here in the event store. And don't get stuff like this, like Separatist D3. Yeah, you only get them here either, but it's a ship nobody needs, to be honest. And it's the same with a lot of other ships. You can get the Jellyfish here if you are on a certain point in the game, but it's just a collector thing, more or less. And that's why I say stay away from the faction ships that you can get. There are much more important things in here, like a second Stellar, like a Meridian, that you cannot get via the game that easily. You can get the blueprints for faction ships via the game with faction credits, etc. So I usually recommend not to get faction ships here, even if you see something that nice here. I have all blueprints for the Rotaran, so that's not the problem, although I'm only level 59 still. I almost got all of them for the Enterprise D. I think I need another 40. And I'm missing about 200 of the Derry decks. But I still will not get the blueprints here, because I can get them via the faction shop and not via the special event. In the special events, you look for stuff you cannot get in different ways. And we talked about the officers, and we have to talk about the fleet commanders if you have them in your shop. But I have to leave again before I can click them. And they want to start something new with arena combat today. Congratulations. Even at issues with reputation gains from events, suddenly it showed 000, and I'm still waiting for the answer from the support. So, nevertheless, here in the event store for the fleet commanders, for example, I have 7 of 9 in Janeway. There might be more in there. I only see the 2 because those are the 2 that are available here that I don't have. Might be that Locutus or others are in here too, but I have them all, except Janeway 7 of 9 in Lorca. And so I guess that's the reason why I only see those 2. You might see more of them. Nevertheless, I will, in the end, there will be another Spend Your Trill Emblems event. That's why I'm waiting for that. I did the officers in the first, and I wait for the next one to get shards for fleet commanders, and Janeway and 7 of 9 are in here. And I will get Janeway first, although she is the more expensive one, because I already got 91 7 of 9s. But I've got 0 Janeways, because 7 of 9 I can, or 10 Janeways from some events or some missions or whatever. But 7 of 9 I can get via the Mega Cube event, but Janeway is nowhere to see so far, and so I will speed it up a little bit to get Janeway. She is not the best fleet commander, so I will probably not even use her in the at the moment. I might switch in between for some abilities, but I have a chance to get her, and there's not much other things that I really need in here anymore in this event store, so I will go for the fleet commanders. I usually don't do ship parts or cosmetics here. Ship refits and cloaking could be another thing for people who don't have it. I almost have everything that's in here. That's why at least the things I want. And so there might be some interesting things for some people. The Calvin refit, the Katinga refit, and the Valdor refit. If you are on a level where you just got your Katinga, or where you're about, or where you just got your Katinga or Valdor or the Calvin, those are really interesting ones. They look good. I got them all because they're just cool, and they give you a reputation gain if you work with those ships. So I got them. But the TOS Enterprise refit, for example, the TOS D4 refit, those are in a refinery. That's not necessary to get them via this event store. So if you think about something, if you have all the other important things like the Meridian, Second Stellar, and so on, then you might want to get those refits. They are quite fun. You might see different ones than I do because it depends on the ships. My only G4 rare ship is the Corinar, and that's why I only have the Corinar Apex Barrier here, but I'm not using her anymore, so I will not get that refit either. And in some cases you might want to think about cloakings for your ships. That could be another interesting part. The amalgam cloaking you can do via refinery, and the others usually via the faction stores. So it's not really an absolutely necessary thing to get them here. But if you have everything else important, you might want that. What I never get here is materials and resources, far too expensive compared to everything else. That's why, and special currencies as well, I just keep my hands off that. And if you're a collector of frames or avatars, you might go through to the throwback cosmetics, but I still have other important things here. And you see, I once again can't click it. Nevertheless, despite the bug, I don't have to go out again. I just wanted to give you a little overview and give you my opinion on what to get and what not to get in this shop. And they only come 2 or 3 times a year. For lower level players, this is really important to use and to get your blueprints for ships you really need, and you cannot usually get in-game unless you have a lot bigger alliance with the territory, of course. Then you don't need the Meridian from the event store. You can get it via the alliance territory. The same now, which is brand new, is the Voyager. So if you haven't seen that yet, have a look. If you have the Voyager construction site in your territories, we have that in my alliance. So it shows up in the alliance shop as well. So our people don't need to use this event for the Voyager anymore. The Voyager is available in game, but takes some time. So some people in the past got shards via these events, but now if you have a territory, you can get even more. Then you don't need to get Voyager shards via this events and the ship blueprints. But I'm quite curious, what are you getting from this event? So please let me know either in the comments under the video or below the video, or on Discord. And it's really interesting all the time to see what people get. Nevertheless, if you want to see another video right now, the next one is right here in the end screen. I'll see you there. I'll be back.